This is the Sattler Files.
Devrite Homes, when you're looking for attention to detail and a uniquely designed home to suit all your needs. At Devrite Homes, we only build a limited number of homes per year, so we can truly focus on what you want out of a prestige home builder. We've continually won awards for excellence, with a record number of wins last year and the proud winner of the Australian Townhouse Villa of the Year. While we love building homes to suit each client, we pride ourselves on designing homes that take into account the special safety needs of some of our clients. If you have a dream, we can make it come true. Talk to Jay Mangano and find out more about Devrite Homes at www.devrite.com.au.
This is the Sattler Files.
Welcome back to the Sattler Files. My name is Murray Corf, and with me is Jay Mangano from Devrite Homes of Distinction. G'day, Jay.
Hi, Murray. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now, you've just been across to the beautiful Hamilton Island.
I have,
and
yes.
the Whitsundays,
Yes.
and it was there that you received an award from the Housing Industry Association of Australia.
Yeah.
And a fairly prestigious award it is. Tell us a little bit about it.
It was the Business Partner of the Year award, Australia-wide, so that's something.
Well, congratulations
Thank you.
so much on that. That's an amazing award to get.
Yeah, because I won that award, I've been talking to a few journalists during the week, as you might imagine.
Indeed.
So I've spent a lot of time this week reflecting on our business and how we run our business, and I
So there was obviously a lot of things going on at the award ceremony on and I say it again, Hamilton Island.
Yes.
And people like Mark Bouris and Ben Robert Smith,
Lisa Wilkinson.
We have wife of Peter Fitzsimons.
Yeah. And they all did business talks and how to run your business. And the bottom line is, for all of them, was hard work. There is no way around it but hard work.
Of course.
And all of them said that they worked phenomenal hours. They did what they had to do to get where they are. There was no
shortcuts.
No shortcuts. Lisa Wilkinson said she worked 7 days a week when she went to Dolly.
Well, she was the editor-in-chief of Dolly, I think, at that time.
Yeah, at 21 she was the editor-in-chief.
Is that right? 21?
Yeah.
That's extraordinary, isn't it?
And she'd only been there 2 years. She answered an ad as a Girl Friday, and she didn't care whether what she was called. She'd be a Girl Friday if she had to be to get her foot in the door. And, 2 years later she was the editor. But she said she went in and she did whatever was expected of her. So she did the bits that no one else wanted to do. They had a poem section and everyone else go, it's just so bad, it's so bad, just pick out the best ones and throw the rest in the bin. And she did it because she was young, so she related to the poems that were being written by the young people. And she said, so that was her, she loved it. And she did that. She said that was the last job she did when she left. She made sure that doing the poems was the last job she did when she walked out the door.
Is that right? Good heavens, yeah.
So, but she said she worked 7 days a week. She did what she had to do.
Look, sometimes I think we lose sight of that, don't we? It's really a statement of the obvious, but sometimes we forget that, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you would work really long hours, I would have thought, in your business, surely.
We do, yeah. We work when we need to. We work all the time. So there is not a day goes by that we don't work. So Saturdays, I usually do site visits on Saturdays and Sundays, so I've been to all my sites. I know what's going on. And without those site visits, you lose track. You can't know what's going on just by someone telling you. You can't see things. No. So with not going to site would be,
So what you're saying is that you're putting a priority on your business. You're putting a priority on that over having a Saturday or a Sunday off.
Yes, correct.
Well, it just supports the old adage, isn't it? The harder I work, the luckier I get.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true.
I mean, people say that you're lucky, but the reality is there is some luck involved, but fundamentally it's persistence and just hard work.
And just hard work. And there is luck. We've been very lucky in the clients we've got. We've been very lucky but I don't know.
Well, maybe you've been lucky, but then they would not be around were it not for your
persistence,
reputation, your persistence, and your attention to detail, like going out on your weekend and to site visits and so on, to making sure that everything is okay.
I wish they'd stop feeding me when we go to site, though. I've got to stop these clients feeding me.
Yeah, well, they all they're doing is probably showing their appreciation for the attention that you give them. But it's true, though, isn't it? I mean, it is something that we sometimes lose sight of, and like you don't want. Nobody would actually relish the idea of going out on a site visit when it's pouring with rain and thunder and lightning and all of that sort of stuff.
Oh, but that's when you need to go to check to make sure where the water's running and there's no leaks and all those things. So, it's not good going out then, but it's also valuable to go out then.
Yes, of course.
How water flows around a site is really quite important when you come to doing earthworks and drainage on the house,
But it all adds up to hard work, and that's the sort of thing that has got you and your company, Devrite Homes of Distinction, to the point that it is now. And I'm sure there are people saying you're lucky too, but we go back. The harder I work, the luckier I get. It is that. When we set up our company, we had very strong values that we were going to follow, and every decision we make, if we make them from those values, we know we're making the right decision. So we always, if there's a hard decision to make, it's reflect back on our values and that's the decision you make. Absolutely.
And it would be good if everyone made every decision they made from their values, but not everyone has the same values.
And that's all about integrity as well, isn't it?
Yes, you've got to have integrity in all your dealings. And doing the right thing doesn't always mean saying yes, because you can't always say yes. You can't let people bully you, and there's a lot of that.
Is there really?
Oh, yeah. Bullying, most government departments are bullies, and that's why they go there, to bully people. They don't have any integrity. And
you must run across a lot of that. I mean, dealing with councils and so on. I mean, you talk to somebody about a council, and everybody's got a story, but you must have hundreds of them.
Oh, yes, we've got hundreds. And a lot of times you just roll over and give in, even though you know it's not right and you should fight it. You can't fight every battle. You just can't. You'd end up a basket case. So a lot of times you just give in. I've got a house that I still own that I built in Carlisle, and they made me take a 90mm brick off the front because of bulk and scale. Every time I drive past that house, I think how boring that house looks. It would have looked so much better with just that one line just to break the front up. But you can't argue. It costs money to argue, and they have the ultimate power.
I was about to say, sometimes you have to make a commercial decision, don't you, based on what you're facing, and sometimes that commercial decision you make isn't always the hasn't got the integrity that you would otherwise
I had a
apply.
client this morning tell me that the guy at the Shire has told him to build one car garage on his house. And I said, Alan, yes, I could agree with you. Say, yep, let's go. Let's put one car garage on. Let's move forward, because I get to build quicker and I get it looks after my cash flow. I said, but I can't do that in good faith, because I know that you're going to you'll build something that's unsaleable. No one wants a house with one car garage.
No, nobody
they just don't.
Not today.
And everyone has two cars. It becomes an unsaleable property. It might end up a rental. Then you're going to get,
less money.
and if you're not going to get good tenants, because if you get good tenants, they've got a good car, they don't want it out on the street. So, it's not in anyone's interest to do that. That is not the way we live. So I could have at that stage said, let's move forward. Let's do it. But in fairness to my client, I can't. No. I can't. And the person at the Shire that said that should have more integrity. He should have more integrity. He knows how we live, and he doesn't care.
Are they not accountable? I mean, what's the process you go through? There's got to be an appeal. But you see, once again, we get this commercial imperative, don't we?
There is. You can go to court, but every time you can go to SAT, it's a State Administration Tribunal, but it's all time, it's all money, and it's just
on somebody's
a wasted exercise on somebody's whim. I don't like that, so I'm not going to approve it. How does that become fair? How does that become integrity?
So, Jay, when something like that happens, what's your first step? You've gone to the council and they've done something that you don't agree with, and you want another arbitrator. What's the first step? That's the State Administrative Tribunal?
Yeah, but it's got to be refused. So until it gets refused, you can't do anything. So it's got to be refused. So you've got to go through the process and get it refused. Once it's refused, then you can go to State Administration Tribunal. Okay.
And is that the ultimate appeal, or can you go to the Planning Commission?
No, State Administration. If the Planning Department knocks you back as well, if WAPC, then you take them to SAT as well. So that's where it goes. Everyone goes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I see. So, but that costs money. It costs you as the builder and the client time.
Yeah.
And you're not getting the house built. The client's unhappy because they're not getting their house built, and the whole thing just becomes untenable, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah. Yeah. Councillor that I've been dealing with, Cambridge City Council at the moment, and one of the councillors gave us in writing, said she would vote one way. 5 hours later, went to a meeting and voted a different way. That is just not.
Well,
that is not Australian. It is not integrity. It's not a decent person.
No.
What kind of person does that?
Well, somebody that's got...
There was two of them. One of it said it in writing and one of it said it with her mouth.
Well, that just shows that there's another agenda that you're probably not aware of in some case.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow,
But that's not fair to any person to have that agenda cloud the issue of this person's...
No, not at all.
I mean, that's their business, and if they've got a different agenda, it shouldn't be affecting anything they do with this person.
No, not at all.
That should be looked at
because it doesn't. What they're doing is that they're not actually giving due care and attention to the issue at hand. There is another agenda being followed simply, and that's just a pawn in that agenda, isn't it?
We're on a corner block, corner block, and it's a 3 metre slope, and they want us to put the driveway on the 3 metre slope. And you think now, and it's because they are saying it's dangerous to put it on the flat.
Really?
Now we're going to come out of this driveway, reversing uphill, so the driver's going to be at the lower point of the car with a footpath, and they're saying that's safer than reversing out on the flat. You think, you've got to have, you've got to think about what you're saying and think,
that's right.
Hang on.
Yeah. There's something not quite right here, and you're not viewing it the right way.
They don't want the driveway on that street. They want it on the other street, but they're not looking at the facts. The facts are there's a 3 metre slope. The facts are it doesn't work. It is not as safe to do it on that one as it is on the other one. But we don't like it. So end of story, we don't like it. And you think, how can you argue with we don't like it?
Well, that's a personal judgment. It's a value judgment, really, isn't it? So then if you want to contest that, then what you've got to do is you've got to have it formally refused. Mm-hmm. Once they've done that, you can then
there's a process to go through to go to SAT.
What sort of time frame would you be looking at for something, using that as an example? How long would it take to get that matter heard in the State administrative tribunal?
I don't know because I've never gone through the process, but it is time consuming, yes. And it's all, they've got to respond and it's all those things.
So in the meantime, the client is left there with, he's maybe have a loan that he's paying out or whatever.
So if he's got $1 million, so we're in West Leederville, so he's got a 4-unit site in West Leederville, so what's that worth? $1 million.
Yeah.
A rough deal. If you've got a loan on $1 million and somebody's just, I don't like it.
Being obstructive.
A lot of it is just being obstructive. Thinking, somehow they think the builders do it all. They don't relate back because the builders make all the applications.
Of course.
So it's the builder that's doing it and you think, do you not get that we are doing it under instructions from your ratepayers? We're not doing it because...
We want to feel good.
But
that's just insane. So how do you go about that? Do you negotiate with them? Do you go and have a chat?
In the city of Cambridge, they will not negotiate with us. They won't. They just said, no, this is how it is. And you either do what we say or we're not going to. They won't listen to any argument that we come up with. We went to a council meeting and the same councillor that put it in writing that she was going to vote one way and then voted the other, her first words out of her mouth when we started discussing it was, if we put our heads together, I'm sure we can come up with a reason to refuse this.
Oh, really?
And you think, you horrible person.
So... But Jay, there has to be an agenda there, doesn't there?
There has to be.
Obviously you're not aware of it, but somewhere in there, there's got to be.
Well, apparently, this same councillor who doesn't like our streetscape houses, we've got 4 street front houses. She said build 3. She hasn't thought through the building of the 3 because if we build 3 on a corner block, then and it's a triangle corner block, there's going to be the back of 2 houses on one street or the other. So the way we've designed it, we've got 4 houses facing the street. She wants it on 3 houses, but 2 of them are going to face the back of the houses are going to face the street. So they're going to get the back of the house with a colour-bond fence. How is that in the interest of the people over the road?
Oh, it's not at all. That's ridiculous.
And then she said, well, why don't they build 2x2s? So... hang on, you want me to build apartments. What happens to your streetscape now? And what about the people over the road? You're doing this in their best interest, are you? Because they're going to get apartments that will be rented out. They'll get more tenants, more cars, more everything. You go to those people over the road and ask them if they want 4 townhouses that probably will be privately owned or they want some 2x2 apartments over the road. You tell me whose interest is she working in? She's not working in the interest of the people.
No, or the council itself. They're charged with the way that things look and things like traffic flow and all that sort of thing. That's not in the best interest of those issues.
No, it's just bloody mindedness, and they have the power, so they will be bullies because they have the power to be bullies, and the government has made it that way that they can be bullies.
That's really, then you start to think about the flow-on effect of that because, when you have to deal with those sorts of objections and you have to deal with delays and that sort of thing, it sends the cost of building up.
Yeah, and the government keeps talking about affordable housing.
I was just going to make that point.
How does that help affordable housing?
It really doesn't, does it?
Yeah. And the other thing that is really apparent when you deal with shires, if you deal with them, you've got 21 days to respond.
They don't have to.
They've got as long as they like because they're busy people. You think, hang about.
Good Lord.
It's just, it's just unbelievable that they have no time frames they have to work to. With the building licence, they fixed that with the building licence. Now they have 10 days to do it. They couldn't do it before.
But now they can.
Now they can but it costs everybody because to bring that in, so we used to just go to the Shire and we'd pay X to get our building licence. We've changed now, it's a building permit. and we can get it privately certified. But now it costs 2/3 more now to do that, because when they put the legislation in place, the prices went up, so that these people, they still get the same amount of money as they got before, but they have to do less work now. It's certified by somebody else. So,
I see. So they have contract. You can go to an external party and you can have them certify it, and then then you take it to the council and get the permit.
Yeah, and they've got 10 days to issue the permit. But somebody else has already checked it, so they've still got 10 days to certify it.
There's something just, I don't know what it is, yes, Minister, about all of that, isn't
you know, you can put in the plans to build a house. You think, righto, so you put in the plans to build a house, you draw the driveway on there. That doesn't give you the right to build the driveway.
Really?
You've got to make an application to build the driveway. And you think, hang on, it was on the plans. Why would I need to now tell you that I'm going to build the driveway when it was there all along? Why didn't you check it on the
bizarre.
plan?
So what are you going to do with a house that was approved with a driveway in a particular spot? How can you then change that? I mean, because that would that not change the design of the whole house?
Yeah, they don't necessarily want to change it. It's just red tape.
Oh, really?
It's just red tape. You know, it was always drawn on the plans. They're going to approve it there, but they might say, oh, well, I want this bit wider, or I want that something, or I want this. But, yeah, they're going to approve it. It's just red tape. It was always on the plan. So why would you need to make another application to put it there when it was always there?
Oh, God. That is yes, Minister, isn't it? Really and truly. I mean, this is where I don't get it, because they are talking about housing affordability, and they are talking about, you know, things taking so long to build and all of that sort of stuff, and yet we hear about this sort of thing. It's just outrageous. And are all councils like that?
All councils have their own little quirks that...
well, that in itself needs addressing by someone, surely. I mean, you should, as a builder, you would want to know what you were dealing with and have a set of guidelines and rules and things that you have to comply with. And I guess that would make your job easy if you knew that.
Yeah, if there's one set of rules all the way across, that would be fantastic. But it's not one set of rules. You've got to know every shire and every little quirk they've got to deal with them.
They set up their own little fiefdoms and their own way of doing things.
Yes.
Oh God.
There's a form in City of Vincent that you've got to fill in when you to get your building permit. You've got to tell them where you're going to put the sand and where you're going to put your cement mixer, and you think, and what are you going to do if my sand is not there? What happens if I put my cement where the sand is and sand where the cement is? You think, you know, it's just somebody empire building that should be stopped. It should be stopped. It shouldn't be allowed because it is just red tape. I think the form, I've never filled it in. There's about 10 pages of just stuff that they asked, stupid questions.
Good
and
Lord.
You know, and those things, when you're building in infill properties, you don't have a lot of space.
No, you don't.
You have to do what you have to do. You've got scaffolding there that takes it up. You've got hoist. You've got all these things. And you've got to try and work out where your sand's going to be when you've got...
Like, that's so important, isn't it, really?
It is.
It's only there for the duration of the building process, surely.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, they've got to... They're getting rates, and the more these things happen, the higher the rates they get. So, you know, it's in their interest too to get these things done. But, yeah, they actually, because they're not accountable, they don't have... If they had to work on the same principles as business and they had to make money and all those things, that they would improve things a lot faster.
I'm sure they would.
Yeah, you don't get to spend any money unless you make some this month, so let's get going.
Yeah,
and
let's get a few things approved, because when it's completed, we're going to get some money.
Yeah, but see, everyone pays government up front, so there is no incentive for them. So
Jeepers. I wonder if they've heard of Hitler. Perhaps they haven't. That just seems really so wrong.
It is.
You must have the patience of a saint, Jay, because I would probably leap over the counter and render them all unconscious.
Yeah. When I was at the council meeting the other night, there was 10 questions from some Cambridge, and there was somebody asking questions about integrity, and they actually answer them, and you think, just by answering it, you've got no integrity because you know what you're saying is not true.
Yeah.
But
has this developed over a period of time, Jay, or has it all? I mean, you've been in the business a long time.
No, it's always been the case, and it's the same the world over. So
is it really? Oh, that's discouraging.
It's
that's really discouraging.
I'm sure it's the world over. It's the same thing.
Lord.
You can speak to people from France, and they'll tell you the same thing.
Yeah,
it's just, and so I don't know that it's fixable, but
it certainly doesn't sound like it. I mean, it sounds like something where federal government needs to become involved, but
this is actually state government.
Yeah, but sometimes state governments don't want to. I think it may have to come from the top. I don't know.
Yeah, local government minister here is. Yeah, he doesn't.
Do they not see this sort of thing? I mean, really and truly, if it's so rife, surely they must get a lot of complaints.
I think people want to be seen as a good guy. We got asked to a meeting the other day with the building commission, and they said, "Don't anyone antagonise them. We want them to be on our side." And you think, hang about, why? If you're not going to question anything they do, what chance are you got of making it better for everyone? We just roll over and let them do what they want because we don't want to antagonise them. You think sometimes you've got to stand up and say this isn't right. And
sometimes I guess that it's a long way from being able to be fixed, but sometimes when industries get together and actually start putting submissions in and that sort of thing, things start to move. But, I mean, once again, the antagonising part of it, when you've got people that are just hell-bent on obstruction, they'll only make it worse, will they not?
Yeah. Who knows? The industry bodies do make delegations all the time and all those things, but... Yeah, it's got to come from the builders because
they're the ones primarily affected.
They're the ones that need to feed that information to these industry groups, and the industry groups has to take it up to fight en masse because the only way you'll ever get anything done is en masse. So
yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's very discouraging because it's. If people listening to this hear all those sorts of things and the difficulties that you go through, obviously it's something that could also come from the public as well, surely.
Yeah, it could. But people don't worry about things until it affects them.
That's very true, Jay, very true.
Yeah, and...
A bit like airports. Everybody loves them when they want to travel but hate them when they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. The trial of the airport noise in Perth at the moment.
Oh, but, goodness, yes.
But, yes, that's another story.
Well, look, congratulations again. I mean, we've talked at length about subjects that perhaps aren't as light as they could be, and I don't want it to overshadow your success at the Housing Industry Association Awards, because that was a fantastic win for you and for Devrite Homes as well.
Yes, it was.
So once again, congratulations and well done.
Thank you, Murray.
Thank you so much, Jay, and we'll be back with Jay Mangano next week, but in the meantime, we'll be back with more on the Sattler File shortly.
This is the Sattler File.
Devrite Homes, when you're looking for attention to detail and a uniquely designed home to suit all your needs. At Devrite Homes, we only build a limited number of homes per year, so we can truly focus on what you want out of a prestige home builder. We've continually won awards for excellence, with a record number of wins last year and the proud winner of the Australian Townhouse Villa of the Year. While we love building homes to suit each client, we pride ourselves on designing homes that take into account the special safety needs of some of our clients. If you have a dream, we can make it come true. Talk to Jay Mangano and find out more about Devrite Homes at www.Devrite.com.au.
This is the Sattler 5.